What is going on, guys? Miles here, and in this video we'll be taking a look at some rumors about the Blackout mode in Black Ops 4, which is basically the battle royale for that game. There was a post on the Black Ops 4 subreddit recently by a user called Omnipotent M, who claims to have some inside information about Blackout. Now, this isn't confirmed information, it is just a rumor, so everything which I'll go through in this video may be false or it may be changed at a later date. However, this does seem to be a fairly credible source because this same person did leak some information about Black Ops 4 zombies before a trailer was actually released, so I myself do think this information is pretty legit. So let's take a look at what they have to say about the Blackout mode. The first thing they say is that it is the largest map in Call of Duty history, which isn't really a surprise at all, and they mention that there's a lot of focus on verticality, which I think will play out fairly interesting. I guess it's because there's going to be a lot of buildings and stuff, and there's going to be helicopters, so it does make sense there would be a fair amount of verticality in this game mode. They go on to mention that Nuketown is set in the center of the map as an island surrounded by water, and the Nuketown buildings are like set after the nuke has dropped, and it looks kind of similar to Nuketown zombies from Black Ops 2. This kind of makes sense, at least to me, because Nuketown has got to be one of the most iconic locations in Treyarch Call of Duty as a whole. We've seen it in all of the Black Ops games, so it wouldn't be a surprise to see it in the direct middle of the map, so it will have a lot of focus around it. They say that Blackout is aiming for at very least 50 players, but they're currently testing 64 players and they plan to increase it if possible. I was hoping that Blackout was going to have 100 players, but it's not too surprising if it's not going to have 100 players, if that makes sense, because the game is completely different to the likes of Fortnite, so it is kind of disappointing if it won't have 100 players, but hopefully it will still feel like somewhat the same if the map is based around the number of players. Apparently there will be 150 health per player, which is exactly the same as multiplayer, and you can replenish it by scavengeable medical kits. And I think this is a bit weird, to be honest, because I was expecting the time to kill to be much higher in Blackout than multiplayer, because obviously the games are going to be much longer and you only have one life, so I am surprised to see there is only 150 health per player. Maybe the guns do less damage, but it's a little bit strange to me. They mentioned that there's also equipable armor in the game, but it only allows you to take one extra shot, which is kind of pointless in my opinion. I don't really know. Doesn't seem very useful, to be honest, but there's also armor piercing rounds which will obviously counter this armor. There are a limited number of inventory slots, but apparently you can get things like backpacks which will allow you to increase the amount of items which you can hold. As for the actual weapons in Blackout, there are different levels of rarity, and the higher rarity you get, there will be better and more attachments on that weapon, but apparently this isn't 100% confirmed and it is subject to change because they're talking about being able to actually scavenge attachments rather than being a part of the weapon already built in. I personally think it's a bit better if you can scavenge the attachments and choose which ones you want to use, because if there's like a really rare weapon but it has a really bad sight, that would kind of suck, so I do hope they go with the latter. So one feature which I think is pretty cool is the consumable abilities, so you can basically find multiplayer specialist abilities, so you can get yourself Torque's portable barricade, or you can get Ruin's grapple hook with a limited number of uses. You can get Nomad's dog, which can follow the player and guard an area, so I'm really interested to see how these specialist abilities will work out in Blackout, and I do think it is a pretty cool concept. Hopefully they avoid the weapons and stick to only the abilities, because I don't really want to see the Annihilator pistol one-shotting everyone in Blackout. The source mentions how you can also scavenge equipment such as an RCXD without the explosives and things such as a decoy grenade, and I think that is a pretty cool idea, having an RCXD being like a second camera which you can use to scout an area before you go in yourself. I'm a pretty big fan of that, and I'm glad it doesn't have the explosives as well, because that would probably be super overpowered. They mention how there are land, sea and air vehicles, which we already knew from the trailer, but they also mentioned that the all-terrain vehicle is the only fully functioning vehicle in the current build of the game, which is a little bit worrying to me considering we do have a Blackout beta coming in 2 months time, so I'm hoping this game mode isn't going to be super rushed before it's released. They later mentioned that the storm/circle is basically just a simple visible wall which closes in on the map, which sounds kind of strange to me. It seems like they haven't really figured out what the storm exactly is going to be. I don't think in the final version of the game it's going to be a wall which closes in on the map, because what happens to the people which are caught inside the storm? Are they instantly going to die, or are they going to be like pushed in? I don't have a clue, so it seems like they haven't properly figured that out yet. And the last thing they mention is that players will parachute into the map, which is subject to change. Once again, they are talking about having a spawn-in system similar to regular Call of Duty. And to be honest, I don't really know what I think about this. I feel like they shouldn't have people parachute in because it's just so unoriginal at this point. Literally every battle royale has a parachute mechanic. But I also wouldn't want people to randomly spawn in, because there's a good chance you can just get a bad spawn and be pretty screwed over. So they were all of the things mentioned on the rumor post on the Black Ops 4 subreddit. Overall, I think some of the things sound really cool, but at the same time I'm kind of worried because it seems like there's a ton of things which are incomplete, which isn't ideal when you're releasing Call of Duty a month early for the first time ever. So I really hope this game isn't going to be completely broken on release. But let me know what you think of these rumors down in the comments below. Which parts do you like and which parts do you dislike? And if you found the video useful, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Call of Duty, but I'll see you guys in another video.